Hello, my friends. Let's talk about Fantasy Premier League heading into Week 5. These are the current standings in the GHG Community League. It's still a tight race at the top. I'm 11 points off of Benedict Morgan with the FMM Blues FC. Krish Dev with Ultra FC also on 303 points. Now, what are the stacking or the sorting rules? Not a clue, he says. Not a clue. But it's really close. And I love some of these names. Cap'n DS, No Cane, No Gain, The Greavy Train. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I want to talk through my thoughts around wildcarding. And this is how I am trying to attack FPL this year, is really, like, think in advance. Where normally I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to make a transfer and I have 3 minutes on my phone. So, here's where my team is at right now. Let's just go pick the team. Sanchez in between the sticks. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who had the red card in the Champions League game. So I think that means he's got to start, right? Like, he's going to start anyway, but like in terms of a rotational aspect, he's going to play. Trent, Connor Cody. Is that Connor Cody? I always miss it. Connor Cody, yes. Jack Harrison, who has been very disappointing. Diego Jota, Mo Salah, Souček, who's also been mostly disappointing. Basuma, who's been a value. Vardy, and a Watford striker that I picked up. Primarily because Antonio, who's been amazing, he got the red card in like the 94th minute, or the second yellow card. It was just ridiculous. I'm sorry, robocall. I've also got McCarthy, who, goalkeeper for Southampton. He's playing Man City, not on the cards. Dunk and Ayling, who's essentially, 4.5 defender in an attacking setup that gives up a lot of goals. So it's like you probably only get 2 points out of him, or 1 if they get absolutely smashed with goals, but he could give you an assist or a goal like he did earlier in the season. Obviously, this is not very good. Like, if I had this, why am I doing it that way? It'd be all right. Like, it's kind of one of those things with Brighton. I'm going, Leicester haven't looked amazing, but I also have Vardy, and I do believe in Vardy. But do I want to put a defender in instead of like Basuma? And I go, probably not against Leicester. But I don't think this is strong enough, right? Even obviously, that's not going to be good enough. Even though they're playing Norwich. Dennis, after that first game where they surprised Villa and won 3-2, and he got a goal and an assist, and the guy came in and like scored like 20 seconds after he came in, and they've shipped off oh dearie, not Decore. What's the guy's name? Troy Deeney. And he's done a whole lot of nothing since then because Watford are not very good this year. So I have a couple options. I do have 1 transfer in the bank that I can use, and I have 4.2 because here was my thinking. I dropped Bruno to pick up Diego Jota because I just think that's a better value. I don't love the Man United fixtures over the next 6 weeks, and I'm like, I think his price is going to drop. Now, of course, he came in and got a goal. He, I think, assisted Ronaldo. Ronaldo got 2 goals. One of them was a tap-in. The commentators, at least on the U.S. Feed of that game, were acting as if Ronaldo had scored like a bicycle kick from midfield. It was crazy. I'm like, it was a tap-in. Like, he's in the right place. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, easy, lads. It was a tap-in. So I thought dropping to Jota and setting up for a wild card or to make a move for Lukaku at some point would make sense. So I have some options here. If I go to my transfers here, the simplest thing to do is to drop Dennis and pick up Bamford. Because if I drop Dennis, I end up with 9.3 in the bank, which is not enough to go straight to Lukaku. Lukaku also has Tottenham. I actually think it's an okay game. Tottenham, we'll see. And then Man City, which is not usually a great game. But then, this is what everyone's going to be piling onto Lukaku early. And so his price is going to go up before I think this game. So if I could get to him, I'd probably go ahead and pull the trigger. But I've only got 1 free transfer. And I don't want to take a -4 to drop Dennis and somebody else and downgrade that position and do 2 transfers to get Lukaku against Tottenham and Man City. I think it makes more sense to wait to try and wildcard. I'm just not sure if I come up here. I watch Let's Play FPL. Andy at Let's Play FPL has been a channel I've discovered this year. Really enjoy his content. Does a lot of stats. And Bamford has like had a ton of shots, a ton of chances created, just hasn't had a lot of goals. Another option would be Jiminez, who's had like 12 shots and 12 chances created, and has no returns, has not scored. And that's just like last year. He obviously not last year. Last year he had the horrible head injury, but before that, he's giving you 24 total returns with goals and assists, and 23 the year before. So like you'd think he's gonna, in this run of games, gonna score some goals potentially. So that's an option, and he's cheaper. He's 0.5 cheaper. Bamford, on the other hand, again, has given you an assist and a goal for those of you who already owned him. I'm a little concerned about Leeds because they have not looked as good, but it's also, you go like, well, they played Man United and Liverpool. You know, give them a little bit of a break there. And then the games that weren't against the top 4 is what we'll call it. He got an assist in one of them and a goal in the other. So you'd think against Newcastle, even against West Ham maybe, now that they've got Europa League going on, you've got Watford, Southampton, Wolves, Norwich. There are goals to be had here. So if I did that, and I'm not going to click, complete transfer, it's essentially this team, and this is Bamford instead. I'm not sure if that's strong enough. To be honest with you, I'm not disappointed. Last week I scored 60 points. I think it was 60 points, not 66. Let's go check. 60 points. Okay, the game week rank was 3.4 million, which is pretty awful. Let's be honest, but it's above the average points. And I think I watched somebody recent. It could have been Andy at Let's Play FPL. And so, like, if you score 60 to 65 points a week the entire season, you probably win FPL. So right now, my goal for this season, it's dropped. Oh dear. I guess because the Everton stuff, the Monday game finally processed, is to be in the top 500 grand. Now, earlier I was at like 470. So like, I'm pretty happy with where I've been at, even though I haven't had Ronaldo. I didn't have Lukaku when he had a big return and whatever. But all that to say, coming back to this, if this was Bamford, here are my concerns. I picked Wan-Bissaka instead of Luke Shaw, even though Luke Shaw's more attacking, because I thought it might be a differential. Like if Luke Shaw doesn't get a return, you get I think they might even be the same price. Like maybe Wan-Bissaka gets one of them, just as a differential against like the crowd. So I thought, they're playing in the same defense, whatever. Trent's been great. Cody's been surprisingly good. He's only given 1 clean sheet because that was Watford, but now again, they've got a good set of fixtures. He's been on my bench. Maybe last week I scored points with him, but it's like 4.5 defender allows you to invest elsewhere. Harrison is my biggest disappointment, and I'm wondering if I should drop him because I'm concerned. Hello, camera. I'm concerned about Leeds in general. But last year, he gave us 18 total returns. He was a 6.0, and now he's down to a 5.8 because people are dropping him. And I go, he's already only owned by 2.4%. Is he really going to go down to a 5.7? I don't think so. I think there's actually opportunity he goes up again if this weekend against Newcastle, he assists on a goal, or you get some sort of return out of a 5.8 player. Now, I haven't looked at the stats of him, but it's like Leeds. If you just look, Leeds is like, they're set up from a scheduling standpoint to theoretically get you some points. Now, will that come from Harrison or Rafinha or Bamford or Ayling? It's kind of hard to pick. Honestly, they've been kind of meh the whole season, in my opinion. Harrison plays, but I'm a little concerned. Now, like Liverpool, okay, that was after the red card. Never mind. Man United, 68, but they were getting stomped in that game, and then this game they had the red card. So you go, is he somebody, like, it's either... Backing up, it's either we do the transfer with Bamford or we do a wild card and we do a lot of swapping. Swatching is switching and swapping in my brain. Jota, I think, is still probably going to start against Crystal Palace, or come on, because I don't think Bobby Firmino is going to be ready yet. That's just where the news is right now. I don't think he's going to be ready, and I think for a 7, his price has gone up. Player, you're getting pretty good value in the Liverpool offense against Crystal Palace and maybe even Brentford. Now, he did play in the Champions League. I can't remember. He came off in the second half. It was later in the second half, though, if I remember correctly. But then you've got Man City on game week 7, which is a very popular early opinion to do a wild card. But I just go, if I get to late Friday night in America, early Saturday morning in the UK, and there's no news about Bobby or Bobby's not going to be involved, I think it would be foolish to drop Jota even with a wild card. Salah, not going anywhere. Souček, disappointing. He had 10 goals, 2 assists last season. He kind of really hit it running at the end of the season. He started strong with a goal and has done a whole lot of nothing, even though West Ham has scored some goals. And their upcoming fixtures, Man United, not great. Leeds, again, give up some goals, score some goals, not bad. Brentford, Everton, Tottenham. It's not terrible. It's just like he hasn't performed exceptionally well, although his price has not dropped. So again, is that a good player? If you're going to wild card, you drop that guy because you're going to potentially get a price drop in the future. Basuma, again, I don't think of another 4.5, now 4.6 midfielder that's probably worth swapping in. He's given you an assist and 8 points in the game against Watford, but again, he's not going to be somebody regularly that I'm starting. It's just, if I'm having to choose between he and Dunk against Leicester this week, I'd probably choose him because I think Leicester is going to score and lose the clean sheet, and at least this way he might get an assist. Vardy, same thing. Vardy, I know, has not been very popular. People think that this is the beginning of the end of Vardy, but I just go last season. You probably said the same thing. He had 29 returns, and then the season before that 30, before that 23. So even if he only gives you 23, goals and assists combined for 10.4, he was a 10.5, so it has dropped. I just think, again, okay, he gave us 2 points against Man City. It's Man City, right? But I felt like you kind of had to play him because you might pop up with a goal. Brighton, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Man United, Brentford, Arsenal, Leeds, Chelsea, Watford, Southampton, Aston Villa, Newcastle. This is a fantastic run of fixtures. So I go I don't think I can get rid of Vardy. Dennis, we talked about we can get rid of. Same thing with Dunk with Basuma. Again, Dunk has given us a clean sheet twice, Watford and Brentford. He's not really been involved on the attacking side as much. Like that, Duffy has a scored goal, I think, from a set piece because that's what Shane Duffy does. Again, the fixtures aren't great. I need to drop him by Man City and Liverpool anyway. So, yeah. And then Ayling is so cheap and in an attacking offense that you'd probably keep him in. Antonio, I just think, is probably one of the best values of the season from a striking standpoint. Obviously, thus far, he's been outstanding. Minus the -1 against Southampton, but you take that when he's given you a total of 39 points in 4 games, right? The question with Antonio is, will his hamstrings hold up? They're starting continental competition. Now, it's actually probably a good thing, honestly, that he got the red card because now he misses Manchester United. So some people might drop him. I think that's just he's only going to miss a week. Even if he plays a lot in a continental game, he now gets a weekend of rest. That's huge. That extends for me Antonio's runway before it's time to get rid. So I think that's actually positive, although it makes for a mess from a transfer standpoint. So again, Bamford or replace a bunch of players with an early wild card. If I were going to do that, this is where I would go. Okay? I'd swap out McCarthy for Ramsdale. I think Ramsdale's going to be Arsenal's keeper. I'm not saying that's a fantastic pick, but he does have a nice little differential. I have a spreadsheet. He has a nice little differential with Sanchez. So when Sanchez is playing in week 9 against Manchester City, Ramsdale would have Aston Villa. When Sanchez is against Liverpool the next week, Ramsdale would have Leicester. Not great, but not terrible. Then they both have Newcastle and Watford on game week 11. And then when the Ramsdale in game week 12 is playing Liverpool, Sanchez has got Aston Villa. So they kind of swap pretty nicely. Now, you run the risk that Bernardino is going to be, still fighting for that spot with Arsenal. But I can't imagine Arsenal went and bought a keeper for the amount that they did to not play him. So it's kind of a gamble, but McCarthy of Southampton hasn't been outstanding anyway, and it's a 4.5 because you're doing a wild card. So who cares, right? I had thought about doing one of the backup keepers to Sanchez is Steele. He's a 4.0. The only reason he's a value right now is the other goalkeeper. Let's go find him here. Sherpin has been out with apparently a pretty horrible ankle injury, but I think he's actually favored to be the backup, but he's got to get his fitness up. So you could go Steele and save yourself 0.5, right? 4.5 to a 4.0, and then use that elsewhere. Debatable. I'm not locked in on this. This is just my initial thoughts if I were going to do it. I think Cresswell, again, I go to last season, 11 assists. Now, fair, the season before that, only 3 goals. So maybe that's where I shouldn't be making a move here. But like, I think again, 7, 2, 5, 8 in the fixtures they've had, because West Ham is pretty darn good. The only thing is I wish I could do it in week 6 because, well, they play Manchester United and they're probably going to get run all over because they're not going to have a goal scoring threat. At least that's my interpretation. Sorry, Hammers fans. I don't know West Ham as well as you do. The fixtures aren't fantastic, but boy, they get good down here, which, again, you could wildcard or transfer him in then. So I'm not sold on Cresswell. Keeping Ayling and Trent, I'm a little torn here for Fernando Marçal, where, I mean, he's going to be popular because he just got 2 assists. But again, I watched a video from Let's Talk FPL that said, actually, the other option at Wolves, Semedo, plays on the right-hand side that tends to be more attacking. Now, he's not given you anything, but like he's created a bunch of chances and he's been involved. And again, it's kind of the same thing as the Jiminez and the Connor Cody and the Marçal. So like the only problem is he's 0.3 more. And I only have 0.1 in the bank with this current setup. More on that in a minute. Keeping Basuma because he's good value. Salah, Jota. Now, Gray. Okay, so Gray was a 5.5. He's up to a 5.7 because everyone's picking him up because he scored that goal against Burnley. He's had 3 goals this season. The only problem with Demarai Gray is he's had 4 shots. So, do you really want to bank your 5.7 on a player who has scored 3/4 of his shots? Is that likely to continue? I'm not convinced. I put him in there. I'm like, what are the other options, right? Okay, we could do this. We'll come back to Gray. We get Greenwood. Greenwood apparently is going to be playing 80 to 90 minutes for Man United. Now, you could argue, is he as good of a value? Because I talked about the schedule. Fair. I'm not sold on this is the thing. And then Bamford coming in. You could swap out Bamford for Jiminez depending on how you feel. So, and I would like your thoughts on this. For those of you playing FPL, this is going to be the longest video because I'm not used to doing structure like this. So forgive me. But it's like, okay, let's say instead of Marçal there and Gray and Greenwood, what do we got? We got 18.1 in the bank. And we add Semedo because he's going to be more attacking and potentially get you more chances created, even though he's 0.3 more. Okay, that leaves you 13.2, so that's 6.6 for each of your midfielders. So you can adjust that. You could get somebody more expensive and someone less expensive. So let's look at what our options would look like here. Because again, I look personally at the fixtures. Like, that's not the only reason to pick up a player, but I do take it into consideration. So another option in the price range, Gallagher, who's been good as he's come in, right? He's played 3 games. He didn't, I don't think he was signed yet, maybe, for Chelsea, but he's played 390 minutes. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists. West Ham and Tottenham, now Tottenham was kind of falling apart. Sorry, old lady plays. Member of our community. I wonder if somebody ever finds this on YouTube. Like, what? But problems with the fixtures. Liverpool. Again, Leicester as they figure things out. Man City. Like, are you going to drop him again in the future? If you pick him up on a wild card today, are you playing him against Liverpool? Probably not. Right? So it's like that really the move just to get Brighton and some Arsenal, Newcastle, Wool. It's like, do we need a bigger sample size, right? You could argue Doucouré. Okay, he's got a goal and an assist and 2 assists here. Maybe he's an option, like experienced player. I know they signed him, like he wasn't as involved, I think, last season. 2 goals and 3 assists. So he's already got half of his goals and the same number of assists. Now, Rafa is obviously different manager, using him in a different way. You get Villa, Norwich. Can you find a way to bench him or move him on for Man United? West Ham, Watford, Wolves. Again, not fantastic, but not terrible fixtures. He might be a better value than Gray. I just go, is he really going to keep scoring that much, right? You could go Torres if you think that he's going to continue to play. Now, you gotten a little close on the minutes here, and he only has the 2 goal and 1 assist in the 1 game. So I kind of personally want a little bit of a larger sample size. Plus, they have Chelsea and Liverpool, plus some tough Champions League, and I can't remember if it's the League Cup or the FA Cup. They've got like a slew of games that are pretty tough. Is he going to get rotated out? I thought about Kovacic because he's an assist, a goal, an assist, Chelsea, but Tottenham and Man City. Like, you'd love to pick him up here. It's just like there's not that many options, which makes it really kind of tricky if you're going to pull the trigger on a wild card, right? Like if we did, let's go Decore, because I'm a little surprised by that, and that leaves 7.7. So that's why I went Greenwood, because I'm just trying to maximize what I can get out of my 7.7, and again, not have it sitting in the bank, because the other options are just kind of, I mean, you're going to put Gundogan in? Well, you know, like, he's only given you a goal, and he's not played the full 90 in every game, and again, same problem with the schedule, so he's not really an option. Dele Alli, well, Tottenham have just been kind of okay attacking, and I think part of that is because Son is injured. If I could get to Son, I would, but I don't think I can without making even bigger changes, right? Like, Son's probably somebody where you drop Jota and bring him in and drop somebody else, right? The other options are just kind of like, yeah, they're kind of uninspiring to me, but you got 7.7 in the bank, so that's why I was like, well, Greenwood... West Ham, not terrible. Are they really a 4 without Antonio? You know, from a defensive standpoint, Aston Villa, Everton do like have goals scored against them. He's okay. That's why I was leaning towards that. So I guess if we did this, we'd have nothing in the bank. And again, looking to the future, right? Like, I'd like to at some point get to Rafinha. He's been like the trending pick for, he's a 6.5 midfielder Leeds. And we talked about Leeds enough. But, like, they also haven't been that good. So it's like, okay, well, you're also going to Bamford, bro, right? Like, fair. I wouldn't go to Bamford if I could get to, if I knew Son was going to play after this game. Like, I'd probably go ahead and jump back into Son. Not back into, but, like, I thought about picking him up at one point. And so, like, that would be drop Bamford, pick up somebody cheap, and put Son here and put, you know, Dennis back here or something like that. But I'm kind of torn. My friends. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Like, would you come back here and just do, hey, do the simple thing and bring in Bamford or Jiminez? Let me know which one you would bring in if that's the case. Or, and that would mean, let's just make sure we review this, that would mean sticking with Wan-Bissaka, Dunk, Harrison, Souček, okay? Or would you go ahead and do the early wild card to bring in Semedo? Or again, maybe we swap out Cresswell for somebody else. We could take a look at that. Decore, Greenwood, and Bamford. Is that really enough? Is that packing enough punch? Or do you save it until game week 7 where you're like, okay, you could... It's either I do it now or in game week 7, I probably take a -4 to get to Lukaku is what I'm thinking. So do you drop... Okay, if we go back here, Cresswell... Okay, what does that go? 18.7. Is there some other defender that would, you know, be a solid pickup? I don't think Alonso, just, again, they've got 2 tough games coming up. Man City, we've talked about. Reguilon is kind of interesting to me. Again, after Chelsea. And he's a 5.2. He's gone up in price. So maybe he would get dropped a little bit below that 12.2% to where he'd go down to a 5.1 and we save a 0.1 there. I can't pick up like another Liverpool player because we've got 3. I think Reece James is interesting, although, again, he got the red card, so that's kind of hard to tell. But he only played 23 minutes here. I don't know if he was coming off of a knock and they were easing him back in. But again, afterwards. And will he be, you know, their starting right back? I kind of want to see how that plays out. Again, same thing, Rudiger, same thing. You get problems with the schedule. And, I mean, I guess the only thing is you could do, you know, triple Wolves on the back here. But then you're heavily dependent on those games going well. Like, that either goes amazing or terrible. Like, I don't think you're going to get a lot of in between. You'd have 14.1 left, which is still not enough to get to Son on a 10.0 or anybody above that, because what is the lowest? 4.4 for like a nobody midfielder. So you have to have, what is that? 9.7 is the most you could spend. And again, so you're back to what? Pogba? Greenwood? Do you want to roll Benrahma with no Antonio? Maybe, but like he's gone up 0.4. He was a 6.0. It's just kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't want to drop Antonio if you're thinking, oh, what do you drop Antonio and pick him back up? But like, I think right now he's good value. So that's where I'm going to leave it, my friends. I don't really have a plan, is I guess where we're at. I am a little surprised by Decore, so I'm going to like set it up like this. And I would also like your thoughts on the situation. What do you think about this from a wildcard standpoint? Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new players? Is it worth it to pop the wild card for those 6 new players? Or would you just come back over here, swap out Bamford, hope that you get a return from Harrison to turn it around, you know, kind of just hope against hope that Thomas Suchek does something against Man United and that the fixtures kind of get a little bit better? Let me know your thoughts, my friends. It's been an FPL update. Thanks to you that are part of the community and playing. We'll see you next time. And also, let us know, what have you done with your lineups? Make sure you comment that as well, because I'm curious if there's been a lot of people that have popped the wild card early. And we'll see you then. Have a good one. Bye-bye.